Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just under 5 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. That's all set and ready to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to be a revelation film. It's going to have a lot of twists and turns that are going to lead to many different saga-wide implications within this story, and as well as changing how we view the prequels and the originals, which really is a big risk by Disney and Lucasfilm, I will agree, and I am quite worrisome on how they're really going to handle that, but I still do have a lot of faith in J.J. Abrams of really knocking this one out of the park, since they really do know the stakes of the Star Wars franchise. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions and one of the plans by, of course, J.J. Abrams, George Lucas, and more, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's described that during the rewrites of 2018 for the months of November and December is when George Lucas was able to adjust many aspects of the second and third acts of the film. It's described that one of the big revelations that George wrote in was how the Chosen One prophecy will be changed in the upcoming movie. Additionally, it's described that the Chosen One and its prophecy is said to hold connections to the origins of the galaxy and the beyond itself. That is described to be unpredictable for the audience that will change how fans view the 8 previous films. It's said that the Chosen One in the film will reshape Star Wars lore forever, and is also said to have a connection to the upcoming new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Additionally, it's said that John Williams composed a new score that has to do with the reveal of this new aspect of the film involving the Chosen One and its new prophecy that will change the Skywalker saga forever. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, this film is a very important movie by Disney and Lucasfilm, especially for the Star Wars community, and exactly how it's going to resonate with fans all depends on how JJ, Chris Terrio, and George Lucas handled the writing process of Episode 9. So let's go into this, alright? The Chosen One and its new prophecy really is going to be a big focus in the second and third act of Episode 9, and is said to hold connections to the origins of the galaxy and the beyond itself. Now, that to me sounds quite huge, because we do know that this film really is going to go to the next level. J.J. Abrams is going to do something that we have never seen before on the big screen, or let alone in any other project that he has worked on, regardless of what franchise it was, be it Lost, Westworld, Star Trek, Fringe, whatever have you. But when we look at Star Wars as a whole, J.J. Abrams really is trying to really mark this movie down as the best of the sequel trilogy that took a lot of risks, and as well as introducing new aspects to the Star Wars franchise and its lore that will be expanded in the year 2020. So with that being said, this whole entire thing involving the Chosen One and its new prophecy is also said to hold a connection to the new Star Wars trilogy. Now, what does that necessarily mean? That, well, means basically in the new trilogy, also known as the fourth trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, is going to touch on the new Chosen One prophecy that may or may not have nothing to do with Anakin Skywalker. So with that being said, when we look at Episode 9 as a whole, we do know that this film is going to deliver when it comes to these types of twists and turns and revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications within this massive saga. So we also know that J.J. Abrams is trying to introduce a whole entire new side to the Star Wars franchise. We also know that he's trying to expand everything related to the Star Wars franchise that can really pretty much, be connecting to other forms of canon material, such as books, novels, comics, video games. I mean, the list goes on. So you can really see how ambitious JJ really is, and how he's really goal-driven and really aims high for this movie. Again, like I've said before in the past, and how I've expressed this before, is that this movie really does determine the future of the franchise and where the new Star Wars trilogy will stand, and exactly what Disney is going to do with their Star Wars TV series and stuff around those lines. So Episode 9 is a very important movie, and they really have to get this right. It's one of the big reasons as to why the reshoots have now been extended all the way until the month of September of this year, which is quite extensive because they started back in April and they're going all the way until September now. And they're mainly working on the second and third act. Now, this is all due in part to many of the rewrites that took place in November and December. That's 2 whole months of rewriting elements of the script that actually took place between JJ, George, and Chris. So the last thing that I want to touch on is, of course, how the new Chosen One itself, or the Chosen One prophecy and the Chosen One, is said to have connections to, of course, this new Star Wars trilogy. Now that, to me, like I said before, really is going to be pretty much the definition of what we actually heard a couple of months ago, that Disney is trying to build towards something larger after Episode 9 ends. And it could very well have something to do with this that we are talking about right now. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.